can give you a little time to, narrate, and not only narrate, but also tell our young people how you arrived here. Because the reason why I ask this question is we have a lot of get-rich-quick schemes.
Sure.
And Brother Barnum talked about that, and many young people think that they can arrive at wealth in just a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Invest, one naira or 1 shillings and get 500 million in an overnight.
Yeah.
So how was this possible for you?
Okay, my story, sometimes I thought it could have been boring to a lot of people because I have just simple one story that I've repeatedly, tell around the world. But as an individual, I believe our story is somewhat unique. Unique in the sense that I am a manifestation of the grace of God as an individual. Mm-hmm. Because when people sing that hymn, from grass to riches, he took a beggar and make him a king. I've never listened to that song without breaking down, tears coming from my eyes. Because that song tells my story, absolutely my story. I live in my generation, I just think God raised me up to show people that there is no mountain that is insurmountable. There's no hill that is too high to climb. William Branham, the prophet of this age, let us know that it is our attitude that brings the result. And he said that from experience. He didn't just say that off his head. But Branham was gifted. He was a messenger and a prophet for a generation. But he never closed his leg and sit back and say, because I am a messenger, I am called for this generation, God will just download all informations from my head. But you could still see him really committed to his call.
Yes.
What I try to tell young people is to pursue purpose in life.
Yes.
If you pursue purpose, every other thing will add to it. And what is purpose? Purpose is the reason why. Purpose is why you exist. Purpose is why things is made. And the things that are made, 90%, almost 100% of the time, don't know its purpose. The purpose is only in the mind of the maker, the manufacturer. If you ask this bottle of water, why were you made? He will not answer you. He didn't know. But if you ask the person who made it, he will tell you, this is made for refreshment. You can drink it, it's water. If you ask this chair, why were you made? He did not know. So if you want to know, you ask the maker. So who is the maker of human being?
God.
God. So if you don't understand your purpose of existence, that's the reason why you need to go to God.
Exactly.
Because the manufacturer builds success in everything that is made. But a lot of people try to approach life by presuming. If you do not understand purpose, abuse will be inevitable. If I don't know that this was made as a table to hold laptop, to hold water, I can decide to stand on it. I may think it's it's a standing, I can sit on it. If I'm sitting on this or standing on it, I'm abusing it.
Exactly.
And why am I abusing it? Because I did not know the purpose for which it is made. So, if it doesn't serve its purpose, then abuse will become inevitable. Many people abuse their life because they did not know the purpose of their existence. Now, let me back up. I was born to one Lozrin. That's my mother's name, and my father's name is Peter Maduka. 65 years ago, within the 4 years of my existence on the earth, my father went to be with the Lord. I was a young man who do not know my left to right. Put your eyes in the mind of a 4 years a baby. The generation I grew up with, those days, you have to fake sickness to be able to eat rice. Rice used to be a delicacy, a special food.
Yeah.
And you can only get it if not for a festival. You need to really be sick and refuse to eat other food. Then they ask you, can't we find you something to eat? What will you eat? Then you say rice. But there was this particular day that everybody was kind to me. I ate rice more than 5 times or 8 times. Anybody pass, what do you eat? Rice. And I was saying, oh my God, what a wonderful day. This kind of day should never end. And some people are trooping into our house. It was like a festival, and masquerade were coming. People were beating music and things. But I saw my mother, unlike the rest of everybody, feeling happy on a one corner of the wall, her hair scattered. She was crying. And I was asking, I was making her angry. Everybody is happy. Why is she unhappy? Little did I know that was the funeral of my father.
Oh dear.
But I saw my father in a black suit with a white shirt on a bow tie, lying on a bed. So I thought he was taking a nap. I didn't know what it is. But later in my life, that's the best I can say I knew my father. So life was rough, gave me no opportunity to survive or become anything in life. It was really, really difficult. But I still respect a lot of godly women. William Branham, the prophet of this age, told us that a godly mother is the first pastor of the house.
Yes.
And that the New Testament has 4 books, and the mother is the 5th gospel. I can truly say I experienced that with my mother. My mother was not a Pentecostal or a message person, but was a devoted Catholic. And really, she was committed to her belief. And if you ask me to say, I would say, created the hunger of God in me. Because she wakes us up when I was in that age, early morning by 5 o'clock for morning devotion, and we had to pray Catholic rosary, in our Father who is in heaven. After that, we say, Hail Mary, full of grace, 10 times, repeatedly. And that was where initially it was difficult. But like everything in life, practice makes perfect.
Yes.
And the more you do things, the more you get accustomed to it and you love it. I saw my mother pray all night, really desiring for God because life was unfair to her. She was at tender age. Her husband went to be with the Lord and he has 4 kids to take care of. So she doesn't have anybody but God. And try to introduce this God to us. When I was too young, so many times we wake up and we're feeling sleepy. Sometimes he will use her 5 pumps on our bottom to wake us up, or any of us feeling sleepy. If that sleep never left you, she has a cup of water, she emptied it in your head. That was the worst. That I almost hate God for that one. I just said, what kind of God is this, that this cold water come on your head early in the morning? Then sleep will disappear. But that was how she knew. That's the best she knew. She has good intention. So from then, when I started growing up, I wasn't waiting for my mother again to lead me for prayer. I started praying on my own, started having hunger and desire for God. We were Catholics, that's our background. I became an altar boy. Yes, I was an altar boy. I was a mass servant. Try everything I can. But again, if the way to live in life is to be honest.
Yes.
If there's anything, even till today, when I talk to believers, I said, if there's one thing God wants us to bring on the table,
Yes.
it's our honest of purpose. Forget your mistake, forget about anything, because you are a human being. But will you be honest to own up, not looking for anybody to hold you in your Adam's apple, to get you to accept when you are wrong?
Exactly.
God required that depth of sincerity.
Sincerity.
And if there's anything that set William Branham as apart from his contemporary, was that level of depth of sincerity and approach to God.
Yeah.
Because he knew you can't fool God. You can fool a man, but you can't fool God. So if you can approach God with that attitude of depth of sincerity, the sky is your limit. Yeah, in fact, you won't have limit. Because what William Branham told us, that a man or a woman that completely surrender his heart to God is an omnipotent. When God can get you to a point you have no reservation, you truly want to empty out and let him come in, then he can use you. Because the number one enemy you have is not your husband, it's not your wife, it's not your uncle, it's not your children, it's not your father, it's yourself.
Exactly.
So if you can get yourself out of the way, then God will have his way in your life.
Yeah. So while you continue, sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah.
you spoke of your mother. So it all, whenever I hear you tell this story, it really reminds me of my mother.
Sure.
And you know, most of the people that are listening to us are young people, as I told you of
that's
this.
right.
And we see that the younger generation, the women no longer want to be women, and
Sure.
they no longer want to
Take
be
care of
wives and
children,
take care of children and train them and raise them in the fear of God. But if a Catholic mother can be able to do that and instill the fear of God in you, how much more a believing woman can do?
Well, I think a believing woman should do much better in every sense, because we were once like have spiritual amnesia. But when we came into this message, this end time message, God sent William Branham to reveal the heart of God to us.
Yeah.
So we are like having an open book. We are not gazing stars anymore. We are not supposed to be speculating. We are not novice. We should know better. Nobody, I've never heard it from anybody that mother is the first pastor of the house. I've never heard it from anybody that the gospel had fifth gospel and mother should occupy that place. So Brother Branham had used different words to show us how important a mother is.
Exactly.
Because most of the problem we have today, frankly speaking, is not child delinquent.
Yeah.
Many parents are delinquent.
delinquency,
It's parental delinquency that we are going through.
Yeah.
There is no authority figure in the house anymore.
Yeah.
People are not properly guided how they should live, and the love the parents need to show to their children to be able to, take them on. But let me say that many people can use this as excuse to their life why they are not important. But if you think that is excuse, I can also have good excuse, because part of the excuse is that I didn't have father care over me growing up. So at the end of the day, we are individually responsible for the choices we made. Many times we don't like it because we like to abrogate responsibility, looking for who to blame why we are not who we are supposed to be. But hard statement, the truth is that every one of us is a sum total of choices we have made in life.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Many times we don't acknowledge or appreciate it. One wrong choice doesn't make you a failure. One right choice doesn't make you successful. It's a constant sum total of wrong choices you made over a period of time.
Yeah.
You become a failure. It's a sum total of right choices you made over a period of time that make you successful.
Yeah.
Because nobody will say he had never made a mistake.
So the choices we make really matter.
Exactly. The choices we made in life
No matter
actually
our
make
background.
us.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we are sum total of the choices we made. But a lot of people wonder, how can I be successful?
Yeah.
I believe, this is my personal belief, that success is predictable.
Yeah. Okay.
And failure is also predictable.
Okay.
Because everything a manufacturer builds, he built success into it. So there is a law. Our success as human beings is good for God. God wants us to succeed. Every one of us. God never built any of us to be a failure.
That's right.
But whether we succeed or fail, it's up to us. I've discussed with some young people, and quite a number of times, some of them told me, where is the place of grace in this thing I'm saying, that I am too hard on them? Where is the place of grace? I said, please listen carefully so that you can understand and appreciate it.
And they are listening.
And they are listening. I said, grace is an enablement, but grace is not disgrace.
Okay.
If you read the scripture, God told Joshua in Joshua chapter 1 verse 7, this book of law shall not depart from your mouth. You shall meditate in it, not only in the night, not only in the day,
That's right.
day and night. Then he said, for then shall thou be successful. There are conditions that is tied to it. You don't just only meditate on the book, but you said that you should observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then shall thou make thyself, not your uncle, not your brother, not your sister, then shalt thou make thyself prosperous. So I then explained to some young people, I said, look, many of you don't understand destiny. I go to different church and I hear them sing a song, Destiny Changer, come and change my destiny, destiny today. Come and change my destiny, destiny today. I said, when they get to that destiny changer, I keep quiet. They asked me, why did I keep quiet? I said, I don't want my destiny changed. I love my destiny. Why am I changing? You need your own change. Pray for it to be changed. I don't want my own change. Yeah. I said, let me tell you my understanding, a little way for you to appreciate destiny.
Okay.
I said, if you are born in a rich man family,
yeah,
and you want to be a doctor, if that's your desire, and your father can pay your school fees to be a doctor, you are destined to be a doctor.
A doctor.
But whether in real life you become a doctor or not is up to you. They say, how? I said, because if you want to be a doctor, this is a discussion you need to have by yourself. You can't be a doctor because you say, I want to. I want to. You need to have self-conversation. I want to be a doctor. You ask you have discussion with yourself, how? Nobody become a doctor by mouth. I want to.
That's right.
I want to doesn't make you a doctor. So when you make that discussion, self-conversation, I want to be a doctor, you ask yourself how. You answer the question. It's a conversation you're having with yourself. To be a doctor, I need to be good in 5 science subjects. You are beginning. Okay? I need to be good in maths, extra maths, English, biology, chemistry. Beautiful. You are not good at it, but you have identified them. You are making progress.
Exactly.
The next thing is that, can I get a doctor? Can I get a teacher who will teach me maths, who will teach me English? And you find out that these subjects are sometimes things that frighten you, but there's no fear in it. If you get a good coach, he will coach you. And before you know it, you start exploiting this subject. They become very easy for you. 6 years or 8 from that day, you become a doctor. If you are willing to learn, and your father has the money to pay for your school.
Exactly.
But if your father paid for your school, and you go to school and become a renegade, run around with boys or girls, in 6 years, you will not graduate.
Exactly.
And if your father go and bribe the teacher to graduate you, for you to begin to kill human being as a doctor, is the worst thing he could do to you and to do to his other fellow human being. So
exactly.
If you don't graduate, you need to rewrite that class again. And there is time it will reach, they will expel you from that school. Because if you see you don't have ability to retain what you are learning, to put it into practice.
So the choices you make really matter.
Really matter.
They make you.
They make you. So I told the young man, I said, look, there are 2 smart young people who thought they were very clever and they know everything. And in their village, there was an elderly man who is very intelligent, highly respected, because he can decode anything for you. And these 2 smart young men decided, we're going to make a fool out of this man. He think he's smart, we'll show him. So they went and got a small bird and hid it behind them and get to the ancient man and said, there is a mystery we want you to decode to us. The man said, go ahead. He said, we had a small bird in our back, and we want you to tell us whether this bird is alive or dead. They've already decided. If the man said the bird is alive, they will squeeze the bird, it died.
It'll die.
Then they will show him a dead bird. If the man said the bird is dead, they will show him the bird that is alive. So they met the ancient man and said, can you please explain? I told them, I said, this is what destiny is all about. Can you explain whether this bird is alive or dead? The ancient man said, it's not a problem. Whether this bird is alive or dead is up to you. That was the question. In other words, if you like, kill the bird, or if you like, keep it alive. The question he gave them, he said, you want to know whether this bird is alive or dead. My answer is that it's up to you.
It's your choice.
It's your choice. You decide whether you want to keep him alive or kill him. So this is what destiny is all about. God had made a provision for every one of us. Because when he writes his vision statement pertaining human being in Genesis 1:26, he was not under any illusion. He said, let me make a man in my own likeness, after my own kind. The way he was is what he wanted to make man. So God created a man from beginning to be a creator. That's why he didn't even put on that wear for the man when he created him. He didn't give him a table. He didn't give him a chair. He didn't give him a cow. Why? Because God wanted man to create it, to be part of his creation. He took this table and hid it on the tree. He took this chair, kept it on the tree. He took automobile, keep it on the tin ore and the mountain. The only thing God gave his children, which is still what we are fighting for. God never gave a man car. He didn't give him a shoe. He hid it on the cow. But he gave him sense to be able to get these things out of what is created. To be able to recreate. The only thing God gave man is land. That's why they call property real estate. It's the only estate that is real.
Yeah.
That's why they are still fighting in Pakistan today over land. Every problem of the world is land, property.
Yeah.
That's the only thing God gave to his children.
Yeah.
And I told some of the young believers who, once they get the first money, the first thing they bought a car, the next one is looking for. I said, car is not wealth. Bible says a righteous man liveth wealth for his children. Children. If you can't put money in a property and die, your child cannot inherit your car. If you don't have land, you have not left any. Because if you want to be a righteous man, you follow God's principle. A righteous man liveth wealth for his children. So the only estate that is real is property. So when you start making money, invest in property so that you can leave inheritance for your children. Don't just buy a car, buy a nice suit. These are not inheritance for anybody. So God didn't give a man a cloth, but he left the cloth on the wool. It's a man's responsibility to think outside of the box, to activate his brain, to take the wool and be able to make a cloth. But the land, you cannot make. God gave that to you. But every other thing, it is given in your own power to be able to make. So let me continue with my story. When I grew up as a young man, I have an inquisitive mind. Because...
So were you at a place when you were an altar boy?
Yes, an altar boy. You know, God gave us 5 billion cells in our brain. Average human being use 10% of it. If you get to 12% of it, you will become a genius. That's why William Branham said, everything we require to the resurrection is already in us. It's not coming. It's already there.
That's right.
We only need people who can teach us faith to activate those things and be able to get to our advancement. Because my mother had taught me how to pray, I heard that Mary visited 3 children at Fatima. They told us this story in Catholic. I went to the bush to pray at the age of 7. And I was talking to Mary. I said, I learned you going to Fatima. You can come to Newe, you can come to my village. I want to see you. You know, Brother Abraham told us about that little child that when the thunder were blastering, the child was crying. And the mother came to the child and said, don't worry, you know, God is with you. And he said, Mom, I want God with flesh. So
flesh in him.
I want God with flesh. I didn't want historical God. I wanted to feel God. I went to the bush, I prayed. I didn't see Mary, but that didn't stop that hunger of God in me.
Yeah.
Because if there is a deep calling in your heart, there is a deep somewhere to respond for it.
That deep, yeah.
There's nothing you are taxing for that God has not provided. But the thing starts from hunger. You can never feed a man or a woman who is not hungry. And you can never teach anybody to be hungry. Hunger is something that comes naturally. So if somebody is not hungry, you are giving him food, you are wasting time. He had to show that he's hungry. And that's how it is. So that's why I'm saying everything about us is about choices. As I think in a message, I think it's as I was with Moses, Brother Abraham said that 10 years from today, you can be an asset to the society. But 10 years today, you may be cleaning bathroom because of the choices you make today. So our choices matters. At the end of the day, we are sum total. Life never gave me opportunity, but I choose that I will be different. I choose I will not be like the rest of the other boys. I choose I will not go the popular way every other person is going. It was my choice. My mother had us, we are 3 boys and a girl. The girl is, my senior brother seniored me, and then we had first 3 boys and then a girl. But I was different from all of them, not because I have better sense of them, but my inquisitiveness of trying to know was what led me to my Christian faith. Because I have this desire. My mother had taught me that there is God. And when I was 4 years old, she looked me into the eyes and told me to believe in myself and to believe in God. And that I will go places in life and that it will be difficult for people to say no to me. At that innocent mind, I believed everything my mother told me. And I practice it in my life. That's why in Genesis, the first thing God did to his son is that he blessed them. And then after he blessed them, he gave them 5 strategic means to be able to be like him. Dominate, subdue, control, so rule this earth for him. When you apply those principles, there's nothing that could stop you, because there is a law of success built on every product. Once you obey that success, you will get a result. Take, for instance, I'm speaking with dynamic phone mic. Okay? This mic that I'm speaking has a battery inside. So this microphone do not want battery. It needs battery.
To be able to function.
To be able to function. So battery is not a want. But if you remove battery from this microphone and you decide to speak in tongue so that you can start speaking, you can fast for 40 days.
40 days and nothing will happen.
It will not work. So you need to obey the law of the manufacturer, first of all. And the law of manufacturer is to give it battery.
Yeah.
If you give it battery, it will function.
Yeah.
If you put battery on it, if you like to pray, pray.
That's up
if
to
you don't like to pray, that's up to you. But don't do any other thing without giving it battery. Because battery is that makes it function. So the need for battery is built on it by the manufacturer.